Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to Social Studies class. Today, we'll be looking at community. But on a quick one, let's remind ourselves about the last week topic where we learned about the Armed Forces Day. And we said it is a day set aside to celebrate those who died during the Civil War, or we can say a day set aside to celebrate the fallen heroes, or a day set aside to celebrate military men and women who died during the Civil War. And we mentioned some activities of that day. We said on that day, we have activities such as prayers, such as march past, okay? Such as march past. Let me pick my pen and write that. March. So they march past, okay? We also have, on that day, we have military parade, we have speeches or talk by the president, we have laying of flowers. We also have flying of doves, which is usually a tradition done on that day. Okay, so today we'll be talking about community. And what is community? A community is a group of people living in an area, group of people. So you can have this person, you can have this person, you can have this person, and you can have this one here. All of them are what? They are called group of people. How many are they all together? One, two, three, four. So they are group of people living together in an area or in an environment. And remember last time we said environment is everywhere around you. Mm? So a group of people living in an area or in an environment. And we said environment is everywhere around you. Now, you can also say a community is a place where people live. That means where you are right now, where you are living is a community. Where you work, every day mommy goes to work, that place is a community. Or where you play. So maybe when you go to the park, you go to the amusement park, or you go anywhere to play, that place is a community. So you can say a community is a place where people live, where they work, and where they play. And also, a community can be large or can be a small group of people. Can you see that I just have four people right here? Yes. This can this is a small group of people. But when you want to have large group of people, you can have 1 million people, you can have 10 million people, you can have 600 million people, 300 billion people. That is a large group of people. So you can have large group of people or small group of people. So let's move forward. We have three types of Community. How many types? Three. But before we talk about the three types of community, let's look at this picture. Can you see your community? Like I said, it is a group of people living in an environment or an area, or it is a place where you play, where you live, or where you work. Look at this picture. Community everywhere around you. You can see the cloud, the sun, you can see the car, you can see the people everywhere. You can see everywhere, and you can say, this is my community. Because in my community, you can see people around, you can see the environment, you can see houses, you can see everything. You can see trees, you can see the sun, you can see the cloud. That is a community. Now, like I said, we have three types of community. The first type of community is urban community. Can we say urban? Urban is spelled U-R. Can you spell it after me? U-R-B-A-N. Urban. Urban community. Urban community. So what is an urban community? An urban community is usually crowded with many people in a small environment or in a small area. So that means the area will be small, the environment will be small, but people will be crowded, people will be many. The people will be many, but the environment or the area is usually small. And examples of urban community are places or big cities like Lagos, like Kano, like Ibadan, like Ogun State. Okay? So those are examples of urban communities because it is usually crowded with many people in a small area or small environment. Now let's look at this picture. This is an urban community, okay, and it is a city, and you can see that in the picture that the urban community is beautiful. You have so many beautiful houses, you have tall buildings. You can see tall buildings in an urban city or in an urban community. And like I said, many people live close to they live close together, and the city is what? The city is small, but we have many people. The space is small, but we have many people. Okay, the place is not that open. You don't have enough space, but people are many in an urban community. And in an urban community, you can see beautiful houses, you can see tall buildings. Tall buildings are also called skyscrapers. Okay, you can see tall buildings, you can see buses around, you can see people walking, you can see taxis, you can see trains in an urban community. Okay? Remember, one thing you have to know about urban community is that people are usually many, but the city is small. Good job. So when you know that, that means you can differentiate between or sorry you can differentiate among the three types of community. So you have to know that urban community, it's a city, okay, and the people are usually many, but the space is limited or the space is small. Now let's move to the next type of community, which is called suburban. Remember, we have urban, but now you are putting a prefix, you are putting another word in front of urban, which you have suburban, and it is spelled SUB SUB, then you spell your urban, URBAN, suburban. And what suburban is also called suburb, okay? So, in a suburban community, you will see less people, okay? You will see less people or fewer people, but the place will be so big. In a suburban, people are less crowded, but the place is so big. There are so many places around to walk, to play, to do all things. But people are less crowded. It's just the opposite of urban. You know, urban has more people but less space. Suburban has less people but more space, or a large space, or a large environment. And suburban is usually located near a big city. Good. So let's quickly do a quick differentiation. Let's differentiate between urban community and suburban community. In an urban community, the people are, they are what? People are many, but the space is small in an urban community. But in a suburban community, the people are less and the space is large. You have plenty or large spaces, enough space. So let's move to, and I said in suburban that it is located near a big city. So you can see this suburban community, you can see it, but it's not as beautiful as the urban. It is also beautiful, but not as beautiful as urban community. Like I said, it has fewer people, but the space is big. And you don't get to see tall buildings in suburban community. You can see that this building is smaller than this. You can see this one is tall. In an urban community, you see tall buildings. But in suburban, you see small apartments or buildings or houses in a suburban community. Okay? And you have fewer people but large space. And also in urban community, people sometimes they walk, or they take buses, and usually they drive. Sometimes they drive, and also they use train to get to the city. You know, I said that suburban community are what? They are located near a big city. So people that live in suburban community, they take train to get to the big city, to get to the urban city, urban community, or they drive to get to the urban community. And some of them walk all the way to the city, to the big city. So let's move to the last type of community, which is rural community. Can you say that? Rural community. Let's spell rural. 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 And rural area is usually called countryside. It's sometimes called countryside. Countryside. Okay? And it has much fewer people living in a larger area. So this is more like the suburban, but not like the suburban, because rural areas are even not close to the city. You know, even in urban area, we have fewer people, just the way we have in rural community, and we have large space. Okay, we also have large space in rural community, but rural communities are not usually built close to big cities. Okay, do you understand? So In rural area, they use more of the land for farming. They use more of the land for planting, for farming. Remember when we learned about farming, about soil, and we said we can use our soil for farming. So in rural area, you can see more of farming activities in a you can see more of farming activities there. So in rural area, you have fewer people living in a very large area, just like the suburban. But the only difference between suburban and rural area is that rural areas are not close to the city. They're not that close to the big city like it is for suburban. So if you look at this picture, you can see that it is not even looking as beautiful as the suburban, not even talk of the urban community, okay? And you can see, what's it called, around? You can see cows, you can see dogs, you can see chicken. So farming, you can use rural area rather, or community are known for farming. You can see farming activities going around in rural communities. And like I said, it has fewer people and few buildings are also spread out. Buildings are not put together like you can see them in urban community, okay? And also, there are a lot of spaces but fewer people. And sometimes you see people walk, walk sometimes, but they walk only when they are going to a short distance. But when they are going on a long distance, they drive, okay? And also, roads are not paved, so people need vehicles like pickup trucks. So in urban cities, you can use trucks, okay? You can use trucks, and also farms have special types of vehicles. They use tractors for farming in urban community, okay? So in urban community, as you can see in this picture, you can see the houses, and sometimes in urban community, you can see huts in urban community too. So you can see that, you can see the pictures, you can see people here. So this is really like a country, like a farmland kind of, okay? So let's look at this picture. Okay, with what we have here, with this number one is what? What kind of community is it? You can see the cow, you can see this building, the hut. What kind of community is this? Okay, number one is what? Rural community. Because you can see the trees, you can see the cow. So you can see that farming is actually taking place here. Okay, farming activities. So this is rural community. Then number two is what? Number two is suburban. You can see that the buildings are not that tall. And you can see the houses are not built together. You can see the spaces between each houses. They're not built together. Okay? And the last one, which is number three, is what? Urban community, because you can see that houses are built together and you can see tall buildings, or what we call skyscrapers. So you can see tall buildings there. All right, thank you. If you have any question, please send them through the comment box. Bye.